here with Lorne Weil, who's Executive Chairman of Inspired Entertainment, a company that's had a really busy past year, including a major acquisition. And if you could just give us a little overview, Lorne, on where you've been in this past year and where you see yourself in the near future.
Sure. Well, as you said, Frank, the biggest thing we've done in the last year is the acquisition of the Novomatic UK technology business. It took a long time to do. It was a very complicated transaction. Financially, it required the approval of the UK competition authorities and so forth, but fortunately we have it done now. We think that when we're finished integrating it with Inspired, our level of profitability and cash flow, or EBITDA is the term that everybody seems to use nowadays, should more or less double. We'll have hugely increased content creation capability, which more and more is what's really driving the industry. We will have diversified into two markets that we're presently not now in, which is the pub market and what we call the leisure market of holiday parks and so forth. So we'll have a much broader revenue base. We'll be much more profitable. We'll have a far larger technology development group, and we will be a very effective platform for further growth.
Now, I don't know what gaming technology group is. Is that a gaming machines company?
It's a combination of two businesses. The largest part of it is a business model which I love, which is really a facilities management business, providing a network of several thousand machines across several thousand pubs in the UK, where we own the machines. The machines are all server-based, so we can constantly be upgrading the content in the machines. We provide the field engineering force that keeps this whole thing going, and we participate in the revenue. And similarly, we are now doing that in a range of non-pub locations in the UK, like gaming arcades, as I mentioned a moment ago, holiday parks, what they call in the UK motorway services, what we would call like a highway rest stop. And so the majority of the revenue is service-based revenue, where machines are an important component of the service, but we don't actually sell the machines to the operators, much like the route business in the States. And then the minority part of the business is designing and manufacturing and selling gaming machines. The largest customer, which is ourselves, because we make all of the stuff that we need in these route operations. But we also sell them to other pub operators, other casino operators, and so forth.
And is the growth opportunity because there's room for a lot more machines, or is it in the efficiencies that you gain?
I think it's a combination of three or four things. There is the opportunity to put more machines out there. Right now, we're only about 60% of the way through the process of converting the gaming machines in the field from analog to digital. The analog machines, as they were for many years in the States, are basically stuck with the game they got shipped with. But once they are digital, it opens up a vastly greater opportunity to optimize the content, and therefore, as this happens, the revenues per location go up significantly, and ironically, the digital machines are much more reliable, and therefore the maintenance costs go down. So we put more machines out there, those machines earn more money. Ironically, those machines cost less to maintain, and we have significant synergy across the businesses between the acquired Novomatic businesses and our current Inspired business. So as these cross currents all happen at the same time, the revenues grow, the margins grow, the earnings grow, therefore in effect exponentially, and that's the model that we're working towards.
One of your key products has been your virtual sports, and a couple of growth areas that you've identified have been online and in the U.S. How's that work?
So they're both going extremely well. The performance of the virtual sports in the online world has been really fantastic, and really one of the most exciting developments we're seeing in the company. Because the virtual sports, not to use a cliche, but is really a software as a service business, once these games are developed, there is virtually no incremental cost as the revenues ramp up. So the incremental profitability of this growth is extremely high, and it's highest when it's online, because there doesn't even require any element of hardware to deliver the product to a retail location. So most of the major online operators are customers of ours. We're steadily increasing the number of sports that we offer through those channels. Bet365, for example, who's probably the most successful operator in this space, has right now, I think, 10 channels of our sports on their platform. So you could go on there and you could play football, baseball, basketball, darts, cricket, golf, tennis. And we're doing literally several $100 million worth of business on the Bet365 platform. So that's an area of fabulous growth. In the States, initially we started with a retail application of virtual sports with the Pennsylvania Lottery. We're in the process of rolling that network out. We hope to have 3,000 or 4,000 bars and taverns in Pennsylvania showing our virtual sports and people betting on them in these shops. We're introducing a couple of new, phenomenally exciting products. You may have read a couple of weeks ago, we put out a press release where we talked about having done a deal with the NFL Retired Players Association, where we have the rights to the names and the likenesses and so forth of all the retired NFL players. So you can imagine, for example, we could have a virtual football game where we would have the all-time Pittsburgh Steelers All-Stars playing the all-time Philadelphia Eagles All-Stars. And that's the sort of product that we will be introducing in Pennsylvania. And everybody is cautiously optimistic that it will be very successful.
And this is a revenue share?
This is a revenue share, absolutely.
And it goes with the Lorne Weil emphasis on recurring revenue.
That's exactly right. This is the perfect embodiment of every aspect of the Lorne Weil philosophy of business building. It's a participative, recurring revenue model on the revenue side, and it is so asset light on the asset side, there almost aren't any assets. So we love this business, and we're very enthusiastic about it.
With so much having changed and changing currently at Inspired, what is it that investors today need to better understand about your company?
Well, I think if I want to put it at the highest level and not get too deep into the weeds of, you should pardon the expression, of how we make the sausage, what we're driving towards is an accelerating rate of revenue coming from businesses that are much lower in asset intensity than the business has been, certainly than the business was when our team took it over. And so we would look a year down the road and expect that this business would be a far more significant cash generator than it's been in the past, more profitable than it's been in the past, and of course more diversified than it's been in the past.
So we've got 30,000 folks here at G2E this week. Before they leave, what must they absolutely see at your booth?
Well, they have to see two things. We have one big screen that has all of our virtual sports running at the same time. And if you see this, it's really quite mind-boggling. People stand 10 feet back and say, you mean that's not a real basketball game? That's a computer-generated basketball game? And it is, so you really need to see it. It's great. And the other, and actually this interview is in your inimitable way, unbelievably timely, because today we installed and began play on our first installation of a gaming machine device in Illinois, in the United States actually, in Illinois. And I'm told it's doing extremely well. And we have a number of these machines on our booth. The response to it has been amazing. And so we're very, very excited about this launch of our machine business into the States. So those would be the two things, the giant screen with all the sports and the machine that literally this morning went into service in Illinois.
Good, we'll make sure to look at it. I know we've got
Please
a crew
do.
out there.
Come over and I will give you a personal tour.
Okay. Lorne, thank you. Always very
Thanks, Frank.
interesting.
Great to see you too.